Here's a couple modifications I did to this Panterra bike to make it a little bit user-friendly for adults and to give the all-around a little bit better ground clearance. The peg mount, these are pegs for a CRF 50. Try to get some light under here so you can see. And they mount right to the bottom of the engine. There's 4 mounts already there, right size and everything. Just need 4 metric bolts to mount them up. And these pegs lift, that peg bar lifts it up higher than the stock ones, so it gives you quite a bit of additional ground clearance there. The only problem with that was the brake lever originally stopped on the bottom of the original pegs. So what I did is the bracket for the original peg assembly was cut right here, and this part was still used so that we could retain the brake lever stud that it rotates on. And then you'll see the back of the brake lever, I have it notched. And then I have an extended bolt which mounts just where the original one did in the back and extends out so that the brake lever can come back and stop on it. And that way it doesn't push the brake pedal way up high. It puts it pretty nice and even for foot action. And that's really all there is to this side of that modification. Get on the other side. On this side, the bracket was completely removed for the original assembly, and there's nothing needed on this side because it's not structural. So the only thing that was needed was right here. I had to cut the bracket so that I could get bolts in for the CRF 50 pegs. You'll also see the CRF 50 kickstand. It's mounted higher than the original Panterra one, so it keeps all that out of the way too. So the kickstand's no longer real low to the ground. It gives you that extra clearance too. Now there was one problem. The CRF must have a higher height, so I did need to cut the kickstand that came with this peg assembly, and I just welded on a piece of metal on the bottom to give it a new foot. But you'll see, let's see if I lift the bike here, with the new assembly, kickstand's much higher. It's way off the ground, so you'll never rub that. So that gives you that extra clearance there. The other modification, I guess it'll be really hard to see, but was the shock. And all you have to do is just drill back on the frame further back. There's plenty of room, and drill a new hole going across, which puts more pressure on the shock, which gives you more lift. And that's another nice easy modification. That's what I did to get the bike lifted up so it doesn't sag so much with an adult, and you can zip around and not catch pegs and have any problems anymore. And it has a good, still good seat height. My 9 and 10-year-olds have no problem fitting on it. I did just replace the exhaust the other day. This is a pit bike style exhaust from eBay, and it's a much thicker pipe. Mounts right up. Goes in a different position. It goes on the outside of the frame over here. I did have to create a little angle here, angle pipe, to get it to the right angle. That's just 2 pieces of, I believe it's 3/4 inch or 1 inch pipe that I just cut and welded around to create the angle, and then mounted the exhaust. Now the exhaust was very free flowing. It does give it a real loud low end sound, louder than the original exhaust. So what I did is I just took a washer and another piece that is 3/4 inch pipe there, and just capped it, which really muffled it down quite a bit to keep the neighbors happy, and it still sounds really good. And it also, you don't get as much vibration as this pipe had without it. Now the stock exhaust, its output was only like 12 millimeters, so obviously this was an overkill. I think this is like 27 millimeters, but mine is about 16 inside diameter, so should still get a healthy gain and not be too awful loud. I don't know if the camera will pick it up at all. Let me just give it a little choke. So probably can still hear me over the bike, not having to yell, but it's not too bad. Another benefit, still not too bad. I mean, we're in an enclosed garage right now, but another benefit to this exhaust is the other exhaust was let me get this other light out of the way. The other exhaust made it a real pain to get to any of the carburetor settings. But this exhaust, because it comes down and back first, everything's right out in the open for the carburetor. So this would have made it 10 times easier for all my tuning. So, and that has a little cone filter on it that got replaced with the original box. The original box, when I got the bike, was letting a bunch of dirt through. It was a really poor setup. So this should keep the engine happy. I did also put on, just for my own testing, setting the idle and stuff. It's a tiny tack. I think it's like $35 or something like that I paid for it. I had it in my parts box from previous projects. And that's nice to have, just so you can set your idles and get an idea as you're riding how many RPMs you're running. Plus right now it shows you the hours, 6 hours on the bike with the tiny tack on it. And they're real easy to install. They just have one cord that wraps around your spark plug wire, and then a ground that goes anywhere on the engine. And that allows it to give your tachometer readings. But all in all, fun bike. Couple little mods really made a big difference in the bike. The exhaust does seem to give it a little bit more power than that two-stroke exhaust that came on it, and you can feel it when you pull up on a wheelie. It will actually power through it a little bit and try to kick you off versus before. So there she is.